Let's add simple texture animations with MC meta files. More in-depth topics for Minecraft modding available in the 121 modding courses linked below, covering writable and tameable entities, custom entity armor, and even custom entity inventories, among many more awesome topics. Alright friends, I can tell you once more, and in this tutorial we'll be taking a look at MC meta files and what you can do with them. Now this is going to be a very sort of, tentative look at them and a very sort of easy adding of an animation in this case. Now it is still going to be quite awesome in my opinion, and I think that once you know how you can use this and that you can use this, you're gonna be like, oh, that is freaking brilliant, because it is. Let's take a look and let's add first and foremost a new item for this. Now this is going to be the radiation staff, so we're going to make a public static final deferred register over here of type item. This is going to be the radiation underscore staff equal to items.register. This is going to be radiation underscore staff. And we're going to, of course, second parameter being a supplier of a new item in this case. We don't want anything crazy over here, but we're going to make it so that it only stacks to 1. So we're going to have new item properties, and it only is going to stack to 1 in this case. This, of course, needs to be the register method, not the register item method. Very easy mistake to make when it suggests the register item method, even though I've used it, I think, like 1 time, maybe 0 times. So, okay, that's fine. In the creative mode tabs over here, we're going to add the radiation staff right here. There we go. That's awesome. And when it comes to anything else, well, the radiation stuff itself is like, you could do a data gen with the item model JSON file. However, I'm specifically not going to do that because we will be revisiting the models literally like in the next couple of lectures. So in the next couple of tutorials, so it doesn't make any sense. So we're going to go to tutorial models item, and we're going to make a new file called radiation underscore staff underscore .json, sorry, radiation underscore staff.json, and the contents look like this. It's going to be a handheld parent over here, and it's going to point to the radiation staff texture. Now the texture is what is interesting. Under textures item, we're going to copy over 2 files. All of this is of course available to you as well, in the GitHub repository, as well as for download in terms of the files as well. So textures item, we have 2 different files. This is the radiation underscore staff.png, and very importantly, the radiation underscore staff.png.mcmeta. The .png has to be a part of this. That is very important. And if I were to take a look at the PNG, you can see that it is basically just a couple of different 16 by 16 textures stacked on top of each other. And you can see if you were to, let's say, look at this green line over here, it basically sort of goes up here, and then it goes to both of these handles, and then just like sort of moves up like there's some sort of energy that is in there. And that is the way that the texture is set up. In terms of the MC meta file, we literally just have an animation over here and then a frame time of 2. You can change this up, and I will link down below a great article on MC meta files, because you can do all sorts of different crazy stuff with this. It is insane. And the thing about it is that you can't only use this for items. You can use this for blocks. You can use this for mob textures. So literally, I could go into the gecko and I could change the gecko's texture. If I had multiple textures over here, you just need to change the side, so the width and the height of the actual image, and then you can even change the entity textures. Absolutely insane. It works with block textures, with item textures. It even works with paintings. So yes, you could, in theory, have paintings that change the texture. It's absolutely insane. It is so freaking cool. I cannot tell you enough how, amazing MC meta files are, because you can very easily just do a couple of things there, and that is awesome. I highly recommend you go down to the external libraries, to the resources, and you can also check out the vanilla ones. So in here, .mc meta, so you can see the blast furnace, obviously that changes because on the front of the blast furnace, it just changes a little bit in terms of what's there, but that is really not one of the more interesting ones. I think that the more interesting ones are a little bit further down. The campfire obviously is fine. I want to take a look at the fire. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense, right? Fire obviously changes its texture, but there is another one, and that would be the magma over here. And that one is also pretty cool. So basically, it just shifts over here, but it also interpolates, so it shifts slowly from one to the other. Absolutely amazing. I cannot tell you enough. Take a look at the MC meta files in vanilla, and you have everything that you're going to need, basically. But yeah, that is the idea. Let's also add a translation just so that we have everything here. And there we have it. The radiation staff is added there as well. And crazily enough, that is everything we're going to need. So let's jump into the game and see if it works. All right, fans, we're back in Minecraft. And let's take a look. And you can see the radiation staff is awesome. And it is being animated. Absolutely freaking fantastic. You can see it is basically animated in, well, every sort of way that you want. Even if I were to take an item frame and I were to put it up over here, even inside of the item frame, it is being simulated. And of course, if you, let's say, for example, want to change this, you can change the frame timing. You can even change the order of which this happens. You can reverse it, all sorts of crazy stuff. You could basically do whatever you want. I mean, whatever you want is a little bit, that might be a little bit too hyperbolic, but you can do a lot of things with MC meta files, and that is already pretty freaking awesome. I mean, look at it, right? That's pretty freaking cool. And that is MC meta files and animated textures added to Minecraft. Awesome. Now, to completely break your mind as well, when you have a custom 3D model, right? So this would be, let's say, for example, the model here for the tomahawk, right? That one points to a normal texture. Now, if I were to take a look at the texture, obviously it would look like this. Now, I could take this texture, and that was 32 by 32, and as long as I were to, you know, define the height and the width, I could duplicate this and put it down below again, right? Similarly to the radiation stuff, so that I have like multiple ones stacked on top of each other, and I could change it, and that would also work. That would then work with the texture of a 3D model. That would work. The 3D model itself wouldn't animate, but the texture would basically change. So you could, for example, have, I don't know, like a texture change in terms of maybe the color or something like that. You could definitely do that. That would absolutely work. I highly recommend playing around with this. But that's going to be it for this tutorial right here. Next time in this video, we'll talk about 3D item models. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.